Hey there everyone, Captain BEARDZ here, bringing you another Gears 5 video. Let's get it. Alright guys, so before we get into today's topic, I just want to go over something super quick because this kind of popped up on my radar just now, which I know they posted this 2 hours ago and I'm a little bit late to the party, but they are giving us the wonderful and amazing curb stomp. That's how it looks. I know some people are upset. They wanted the old school curb stomp back, and I see reasons why. I mean, it was pretty cool. You kind of kicked them over and then you stomp their head in and stuff, which I think is cool. But this one is still cool. Now, the one thing I took from this, right, is not the curb stomp being super cool, because I do think it's super cool. It's what the title says. The curb stomp is back and coming to your collection free with next week's Gears 5 title update. So I was correct, guys. We are getting the title update next week. So this is going to be a bigger update, which should have a lot of stuff. Hopefully a new character. Fingers crossed, guys. Hopefully we get a new character. And on top of that, yeah, we're getting this for free. So if I'm correct, maybe it's going to be scrap. Because remember, you get scrap in this game just by playing and stuff like that, and you'll eventually get it up. But I think it would be cool if they just gave the entire community this curb stomp for free, just completely to everyone. I think that would be amazing by the coalition, and I honestly think that would be the proper and the right move to do, because the curb stomp was absolutely free in the previous Gears, and I don't see why they should even charge a cent, or even a one scrap shouldn't even be charged to get this. I think it should be completely free, so hopefully it is. But that's all I want to go over for that. So looks cool. Can't wait to try it and see it in game and use it. And of course, I'm always going to be bringing you guys that content. And of course, when the title update does come out, make sure you are subscribed to this channel, because you know your boy's going to be covering that fast. Now let's get into today's topic, today's video, which is going to be my settings. Alright, so yesterday I released some gameplay and some of you guys were asking me questions and stuff like that. First thing I'm going to go over is my sensitivity, which is for my mouse. The mouse I'm using is the Glorious Model O. Yeah, so not this little tiny one, the normal Model O. And I use this sensitivity. My DPI is 1200, so I'm using a 1200 DPI. This is my look sensitivity 6, aim sensitivity 5, zoom sensitivity 5. So obviously if you are playing with a lower DPI, you're going to have bigger numbers. If you're playing with a higher DPI, you're going to have even smaller numbers. This is the sweet spot for me, and I absolutely love it the way it is. I do not mess with this at all. And this is just like the setting that I've just gone into. Now I am probably going to do a video in the future going over some sensitivity training and just getting it to the point where you could do what I was doing yesterday, which is being able to lock on, spin onto targets super fast and just boom, shoot them. Obviously sometimes shots don't count, but it happens. The game is still fresh and new, so you got to forgive them for some of that stuff. That's my game settings here. I'm not really going to go over that because there's really nothing in here to really go over. I do have kill cams on because sometimes I like to see, especially when I'm sniping and stuff like that, I like to see where others are sniping me from, because sometimes people find some sick head glitches or sick little spots that I didn't know I should try to snipe from. So that's why I keep kill cams on. So it's not really to watch other people kill me with shotguns. It's more like to watch how snipers are getting their headshots on me. And then, of course, let's go over my video settings, because this is what some of you guys want to see. So obviously I'm using a 2-monitor setup. I got a window resolution at 100%. I do not recommend going higher than that, because that does have a very big effect on your PC. And don't go lower than that, because then your game's going to look hideous. Vertical sync I have off. My minimum frame rate is none, but my maximum frame rate is 120. Now I can easily put this up to as high as I want. I could put it on limited and I'll get about 160 to 200 FPS. Now the only reason why I don't do that is because OBS is very stupid, and Sony Vegas is stupid when it comes to things above that 120 FPS threshold. I know OBS starts tripping out when you go above that 120, so that's why I don't do that. Cinematic, blah blah blah. My field of view is 100, and I have show stats on my FPS, so that way I can always see my FPS on the right there, and it stays stable at 120. Ultra textures I did not download because I don't see a point in downloading it, especially because I do not want to stress out my computer that much. And as you can see at the bottom there, you'll see, hold on, let me cover over it right here. You'll see at the bottom I have a GeForce GTX 1070, 8 gigabytes of VRAM, and then I'm using 16 gigabytes of RAM. It's on an SSD, so that's pretty much why I'm not using ultra textures too. Now, character texture detail, this is all preference what I'm going to go over here, so it's not something I would say, oh yeah, these are the absolute best settings ever and you're going to get max FPS. No, these are just my settings, what I use, what I'm comfortable with, and I'm not going to touch at all. Obviously, if you have a much stronger graphics card, like if I had a much stronger graphics card, I'd probably put some of this stuff to ultra, but at the current moment, this is what I'm dealing with. So character texture detail on high, world texture detail on medium, effects texture detail on high. I think the character texture and effects texture is very important to me. I like my character to look as pristine as possible, and the effects I would really like to look as pristine too, because I like to see all that gore and all that cool stuff, you know. Cone step mapping high. And it tells you guys at the bottom too, if you go over to settings and you don't know what it is, it tells you right here at the bottom what they do, right? Texture streaming, medium, and texture filtering 4 times. Character level of detail high, world level of detail high, foliage level of detail high, animation quality auto, dynamic shadow quality medium, capsule shadow quality medium, ambient occlusion quality medium, and then ambient intensity I have it on a 2. Excuse me. So environmental settings, tessellation quality medium, fog quality medium, screen space reflections off, refractions on, particle spawn rate at a 10. Bloom style standard, bloom quality high, lens flare quality high, light shaft quality high, depth of field medium. Now, so one thing about the bloom I am gonna say for bloom, you can have this off. You can definitely have this off. It might make your game look a little bit different. It might have a better performance. It might have a lower performance. I found my sweet spot to have it actually on high. I've tried it on a lower setting, and for some reason it messes actually with my FPS and stuff like that. It messes with how my game looks, and I don't like that, so I keep it on high. Most other games I play, I always turn the blooms off, and I always usually turn lens flare off. But for this game, for some reason, this is the sweet spot for me. Depth of field medium, I don't think that's too important. Subsurface scattering I have on. I know a lot of people turn this off. And the reason why people turn this off, I guess, because it just helps with the FPS a little bit. I think you should have it on because it makes your characters look better, and it makes some things look a little bit better too. So motion blur, I have that set to off. Now, do not have motion blur on if you have any kind of motion sickness. If you have motion blur on and you have any kind of motion sickness, there's a third-person game, and it kind of has a little bit of a different effect on you. And between all the movement, the rolling out, the wall bouncing and stuff like that, this is not going to help you. Now, even if you don't have motion sickness, like I don't have motion sickness, I still have this off because it is very disruptive. Very disruptive. Trust me on this. When I had this on, as soon as I loaded up Gears 5, the very first day, the very first 5 minutes, the very first thing I did was go into settings, I went into video, and I turned motion blur off. Because just doing a simple rollout with this on, it makes me sick. Just looking at it. I don't want anything to be blurred. I want to be able to, if I'm turning my screen super fast, like you guys say, oh, how do you lock onto people and stuff like that? This is part of it too. You have to have this off, because if you spin super fast across the screen, you whip your mouse just like this, or whip your controller just like this across the screen, and you have motion blur on, that's going to affect your aim. You're not going to be able to lock onto that opponent. So definitely have this off. Motion blur intensity, obviously that's set to 1 because motion blur is off. Sharpening I have on 5. And then of course advanced settings, GPU is set to auto, tiled resource set to on, async compute is set to off, and diagnostic mode is set to off. These are all things you can affect, and whatever's in here, guys, just take a look at it. So if you're questioning, okay, what does world level of detail do? Look at the bottom here. Adjust the complexity of the world based on distance from the player. Lowering settings will cause more pop in to occur. So you can obviously read things and attune it to yourself. These are my settings. And obviously for audio, I got a 5, 4, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. Now for master volume, that's the one I mainly control. Music I usually shut off because I usually play my own music while I'm playing. But yeah, I always mess with the master volume. I don't mess with anything else. This game is super loud, so that's why I mess with the master volume, and then push to talk and all that other stuff. For my key bindings, if you guys want to know that, this is pretty much my key bindings right here. This is the most important area. My roadie run and my evade is set to shift, so that's my rollout, and my run is set to shift. My take cover and mantle is set to spacebar, so that way it's just like other video games, where in other video games, take for example Apex Legends, if you're going to sprint, you hold shift and you'll sprint. So just like Gears now, if I want to sprint, I hold shift and I'll go into my roadie run. If I want to evade, roll out and stuff like that, same shift. Take cover, mantle, that's just simply for wall bouncing and stuff like that. This is very hard to get used to, but once you do, you're going to love yourself, trust me. Crouch is set to left control, which is actually one of my mouse buttons, but I actually press the left control button, so I never really actually use my mouse button for that. And then walk is V. You got your shooting buttons and stuff like that. And these are my key bindings for my combat area. So, of course, mouse button 1, reload, blah, 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 pick up weapon, and my shotgun and weapons and all that other stuff. So I got weapon 1 slot Z, weapon 2 slot X, and pistol C, and then grenade 4. I just got used to it over just muscle memory, and now this is like second nature for me. Every video game I play, I always have my weapons on ZXC and 4. Every single video game I play. It's super weird, I know, but it's just how I am. TACCOM is obviously, you see it's F2. It's actually one of my mouse buttons. So, and then ultimate ability and all that other stuff here. Grab is V, because it's just simple, right? And I don't have a point of interest set, but this is pretty much it. Push to talk is F1, which is one of my mouse buttons. And that's pretty much it, guys. So I hope that helps you, and I think the most important thing out of this is probably the game settings and then my mouse settings. Remember, 1200 DPI, and these are my mouse settings. Hopefully that helps you out. So look sensitivity 6, aim sensitivity 5, zoom sensitivity 5. I'm looking forward to what's to come for title update next week. And as soon as I get any news on it, guys, I will be bringing that to the channel ASAP. So do not forget to subscribe to the channel. Ring that bell to get those notifications, guys. And thank you guys for all the wonderful support on my channel. But other than that, guys, as always, hoodie up, get shit done. Peace out.